Hey guys, mabuhay maligayang pagbabalik sa aking YouTube channel. Alam ko maraming nag-aabang ng kung ano man ang update kay Kris Aquino. It's been parang ang tagal-tagal na, di ba, na wala tayong nababalitaan sa kanya. Puro mga kwento lang ang nakakarating sa atin. But this time, kahit na alauna na or 1:22 na ng madaling araw, talagang kailangan ko itong i-upload because I know marami talagang naghihintay. But anyways, ayan nga. So, June 30 dito sa Pilipinas pero June 29 pa lang dun sa Amerika, sa Houston nga. At eto nga, basahin ko lang muna yung caption. At marami to, actually maingay itong video niya. Alam niyo naman si Kris, pag nag-upload may mga sounds siya, may mga music na ginagamit. So medyo nababan pag ganun eh. So this time ginamit ko lang yung video at babasahin ko na lang yung mahabang mensahe niya for former President Noynoy Aquino. Pero before that, ito ang caption ng kanyang letter. Instagram post. For now, 12 noon, June 29, 2022, where we are, this is what I felt you needed to know straight from me para alam ng lahat ito ang totoo. This isn't a permanent goodbye. Ibalato nyo na lang hanggang malagpasan namin itong matinding pagsubok. Thank you for all your prayers. I am forever grateful. Promise, pag may good news ako after thanking God and telling my sisters and my trusted friends, you'll see a post from me in God's perfect timing. Pero guys, kung titignan nyo si Kris sa mga video na ito, iba yung di ba? Medyo alam nating nagkaroon ng kahit papaano, medyo maaliwalas yung dating. Yung ganun. So, ako natutuwa ako na at least ngayon dumadaan na siya sa proseso talaga ng pagpapagamot. Yun naman talaga ang dasal talaga ng marami. So, ayan, nakita natin si Bimbi at mga kasama ni Kris. But anyways, kasi mahaba nga siguro tong video mismo niya ay nasa 6 minutes. Dinoble ko lang ito. But anyways, isa-isahin ko na tong basahin para kasi mahaba, ilang parts itong letter niya talaga na kinapture ko pa. Ito ang kanyang sulat. Pero letter ito for former President Noynoy. Tapos may mga in-between siyang kwento rin. Dear Noy, sorry that our greeting for your first birthday in heaven is coming 5 days late. Not necessary to explain to you because you now see everything, but for the others, we don't. Kuya just tested COVID positive June 20 Texas time. We flew here June 3 but missed his birthday because he was in LA with some really kind-hearted friends. Your ever faithful Rochelle brought Beam home because she was his assigned guardian in his DSWD papers. I had to do this corticosteroid challenge, which unfortunately caused me to have unbelievable body pain. Yes, even worse than my bone marrow aspiration when he found out I'm allergic to all forms of opioids. Well, lesson learned, I should always trust my instinct. 2 hours after being given such a baby dose, I think 50 or 60 mg given diluted through my IV divided in 5 doses given every 30 minutes, my BP didn't rise significantly. But 2 hours after, everything, the steroid should help. Like, make antihistamines work better. Lessen pain and inflammation, the opposite happened to me. First, the hives started multiplying. Then my body started to hurt all over. Normally, my pain tolerance is impressive, but this time, bunso started solving. Then, of course, my BP went haywire. The two left for LA, May 3, to wait for me, but so many times my departure had to be moved. I knew I was allergic to morphine. I was able to tolerate propofol and fentanyl for my procedures in Singapore as well as in St. Luke's Global, but when it was purely fentanyl, sobrang grabe the effect. Hives from my face to my ankles. That happened to me 2 hours after the steroid challenge because for most autoimmune issues, steroids are the first line of defense. My gut instinct said to just say no, but somehow with 4 doctors present, I did say yes because I figured nothing to lose by trying, and there were 4 of them Who could revive me? We started on the Friday before elections but finished Saturday and they couldn't leave me until almost sunrise. Ayan. I was sedated from Saturday, May 7 until May 11 because my pain was just so hard to endure. I do remember that I cried to Bim and said to please come home. I knew enough that I had bought the VIP tour for Disneyland for May 12 and Kuya Josh was super excited for that. I could disappoint him because Pin and her kids were flying in. Bim and Rochelle flew home and finally we left together with Nurse Eloy, my anesthesiologist, Dr. Lim, and Ann Binay. Rochelle flew separately so that she could pick up Kuya, but he had already made plans and invited people to go to Disneyland again for his birthday. Noy, I wanted to be able to post good news, so let me start with that. Ito, good news na ito kahit papano ha. This is from my attending physician. The cancer gene panel screened you for genes that could predispose you to the following cancers. All the genes were negative. Breast and gynecologic, breast, ovarian, uterine, gastrointestinal, colorectal, gastric, pancreatic, endocrine, thyroid, paraganglioma, parathyroid, pituitary, genital, renal, urinary tract, prostate, skin, melanoma, basal cell carcinoma, brain nerve system, sarcoma, hematologic, melaloplastic syndrome, leukemia. My kidneys and my liver are still functioning normally. Praise God. Ayun. Don't ask me about our flight because my BP was elevated 167 over 90. When I woke up, it went down because our plane had engine problems. So I was able to drink medicine to help bring it down and it was stable enough when we flew after lunch. But for the whole flight, including the refueling stop, I was sedated and fast asleep. Ayun. It was Monday, June 5 when I had my first dose of the medicine we flew here for. I now understand, Noy, why you chose to keep your illness to yourself. My realization came because I do feel peace and since no info will be coming from me, after this post, I'm closing one area of stress that I really don't want nor welcome. But I do want to express my heartfelt gratitude for all who have prayed for me to get better. But I do have multiple autoimmune syndrome. Before I had two autoimmune thyroiditis and chronic spontaneous urticaria, SLE or lupus has remained a question mark. I am near the borderline, have 3 out of 5 of the prerequisites that would absolutely confirm if I have it, but 3 out of 5 could just be a warning that it's there. But for right now, it's still asleep. My third confirmed autoimmune condition is vasculitis, but leave it to your sister. There are different types of vasculitis. I have to have a very rare type. It was formerly known as Churg-Strauss syndrome, but now it's EGPA. We came here for me to try mepolizumab, not yet FDA approved in Singapore nor the Philippines. For a patient to get the full effect, you need 300 mg every month. I was told it had much less side effects than Solaire. By now, you know that Bunso enjoys being different, but this was too much of a shock. Less than 2 days after my first 300 mg dose was given, this worst of the worst vascular and urticarial flare started. It was almost a week before I somehow semi-recovered. I was the allergy clinic's first ever patient to react that way. I wish it ended there. Next, we tried cromolyn, which was supposed to help me slowly reintroduce solid food into my body. Who doesn't want to eat? How I wish healthy people could understand that for some who are ill mast cells are the reason we find it so hard to tolerate food. From the Mayo Clinic website. Signs and symptoms of systematic mastocytosis depend on the part of the body affected by excessive mast cells. Too many mast cells can build up in the skin, liver, spleen, bone marrow, or intestines. Signs and symptoms of systematic Ptosis may include flushing, itching or hives, abdominal pain, diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, anemia or bleeding disorder, bone and muscle pain, ayan nawawala, bone and muscle pain, enlarged liver, spleen or lymph nodes, depression, mood changes or problems concentrating. Yes, these muscles were confirmed to be lining my gastrointestinal tract and the lining of my stomach. During my endoscopy, cromolyn is listed in the Philippine FDA database, but no distributor could be found. Ayan, pasensya na medyo nag-ano, ewan ko dito sa ginagamit ko. So, ang haba rin kasi talaga. Ito pa, straight to where we are right now, Noy, obvious na obvious ang favoritism. Kuya Josh tested positive for COVID on June 20. Nurse took his temperature, then they got antigen kids tested him first because he was so unlike himself. He was just lying down on the sofa, no energy to play or watch YouTube on his phone. I was in our room upstairs asleep. Nurse woke me up to tell me that Kuya was positive. I honestly couldn't understand what she was trying to tell me until Bim came to explain and he told me to please put on a mask. He helped me go downstairs. My instinct was to go and hug Kuya, but everyone told me I needed to leave immediately and move to a hotel with nurse and Bim because I was severely immunocompromised and being COVID positive could mean ICU for me. Oh my God, ganun nga yung A new friend here in Houston helped us get in touch with a nurse practitioner, the second in command of her family medicine doctor so that he could issue a prescription for Paxlovid for Kuya Josh. We had difficulty understanding each other because I was outdoors and wearing a face mask, but what frightened me was when he said, "Miss Aquino, your son will survive this. It's you and your younger asthmatic son I am more worried about. Please move elsewhere as soon as you can." It was heartbreaking to leave Kuya. I felt I was abandoning him in our time of need. That night, Nurse Christina came to our hotel and she gave all of us PCR tests. The result came out midnight of the 21st. At that point, we were all still negative. This is when you know who you can really count on, who will love you come what may. May 22, Anne was telling Kuya Josh that she was leaving that night and going back to LA. Kuya hugged her and he started sobbing. Anne then made up her mind, set her own safety aside, and promised Kuya she would stay with him. By the 23rd mid-morning, I asked Nurse Eloy to please check my temperature because I had chills and something was off. True enough, I had fever. I said to please get the antigen test kit. Nurse Eloy tried to remain calm, but in less than 5 minutes, both red lines had appeared. Kuya was already at the same hotel, so I told them to please take Beam. I was exhausted and fell asleep. When I woke up and asked how was Beam, Anne said for almost 7 hours he had just been asleep. Mother's instinct kicked in. I said, please do an antigen test on him. True enough, less than 12 hours after me, Beam was also COVID positive. Since this was already your death anniversary, somehow I felt reassured knowing that the three of us would get through this new ordeal, especially because you would never allow us to have a death date so close to yours. I even joked with you. I said, no, you are super bida now because you are the only one with mom and dad. If I die, Bunso will of course get the majority of their attention and for sure you won't like that. Then I said, seriously Noy, help me please. These two only have me. Please help me survive this, please. Naano naman ako sa habang binabasa ko to, yung pakiramdam talaga, di ba? You remember when mom was told that her cancer was stage 4 and from her colon, it had already spread to her liver. The doctors gave her about 3 months to live. Our mom was a fighter. She said it would be so unfair for the five of us to lose her when none of us were ready. Mom gave it all she had and lasted 1 year and 5 months. I want the privacy she had, but unlike you, was never active on social media. I need to say goodbye properly because so many have reached out to me, prayed for me and my sons, and regardless of their political affiliation, they have prayed for me to get better. 2 weeks after I'm totally COVID free, I need to do 3 to 4 more shots of Soler given every other week for my chronic spontaneous urticaria. Then I rest for 2 to 3 weeks. Hopefully, I have stronger immunity. Then, Noy Bunso has only one road left open to her. Sadly for Kuya and Bin because ultimately, siya na guys kasi ang haba talaga nung letter eto yung katugtong to spare everyone from having to Google and for all to understand why I'm now choosing to say goodbye for now. Rituxan is an immunosuppressant in straightforward language. It is chemotherapy but also used for some complicated autoimmune cases like mine. Others finish their cycle in 1 month, one infusion every week. They want to take it slower with me because of how unpredictable my reaction to medicine is. They will split one infusion into two and give that to me every other week. So what others will finish in 4 weeks, I shall hopefully finish in 8 weeks, barring any complications. Then I rest for 4 to 5 months and do another cycle or switch to another type of chemo. Only after 8 to 10 weeks after my first cycle can they test to see if my numbers somewhat improve. Matagal Noy, definitely a test of fortitude and endurance. But before any of that, I need my existing PICC line removed and reinserted, and they need to do a nuclear chest scan. My consistently high BP has already sent some alarm bells ringing. We are praying my vasculitis hasn't caused damage to the blood vessels connected to my heart. From the time I was barely 15, what you saw was what it was. That's why in saying my goodbye for now, at 51 years old, it was my choice to address as many issues about my health as I could while allowing myself some privacy by not saying where we'll be going because that decision will be made after we are totally COVID free and my attending physician here in Houston can help me choose the hospital, team of doctors, and proximity to friends or family, meaning a solid support system that will be best suit my needs. Ngayon alam niyo na through my open letter to Noy what Kuya Joss, Bim, and I must face in the next year and a half. Please know that I remain thankful for all the concerns and prayers you have sent our way, but during very difficult times, I want to just keep the suffering to myself with only family and trusted friends kept informed on a need-to-know basis because everyone else is also going through their own personal trials. Ang hirap ng buhay para sa marami, nakakahiyang maging pabigat pa ako. I know me, impossible na hindi ako umamin pag hirap na. So for now, focus tayo on ourselves. We all have problems, we all have worries, and we all have hardships. God bless us all until our reunion. Love, love, love. Ayun. Doon natatapos yung bali ilang 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 pages na letter from Kris Aquino. So, at ayun na, in a short minutes, actually 29 minutes pa, or 35 minutes, makikita nyo kung gaano nakarami, 11,349 na ang nakapanood sa ganitong oras. It's 1:41 a.m. At lahat talaga, itong almost 300 na ay nag-offer ng prayers for her. Kris, please, eto babasahin ko isa-isa since mas may time pa tayo ngayon. Kris, please get well soon. Sending you abundant prayers and success on your treatment. Get well, Miss Kris. We are praying for you. We love you, Kris. Praying for you. Praying for you, Kris. Ayan, puro ganyan lahat. Darasal talaga for Kris Aquino. We're praying for your speedy recovery, Miss Kris. We miss your hosting skills in national TV. Get well soon. Ayan, puro marami. Puro get well soon. At pinagdarasal si Kris. Kaya sana naman, di ba sabi nga ang pinakamabisang dasal daw ay pag nagdadasal ka para sa isang tao at hindi yung para sa sarili mo. Yun daw ang pinaka-effective na prayer. So, sa dami, million na people na nagdadasal for Kris Aquino, I'm sure hindi tayo bibiguin ng Panginoon. So, pero sabi nga ni Kris, alam niya, ang dami ng problema sa panahon ngayon, daming problema ng mga tao. So, ayaw na maging pabigat pa. Um, so yun na muna for now. Kasi habang nakikita ko itong mga picture na to, ito yung galing sa letter nga. Sulat niya ito for Pinoy. So, oh well, sana ako ang wish ko talaga personally ay malampasan talaga to ni Kris. Actually, every time naiisip ko si Kris sa situation niya ngayon, hindi ko talaga maiisip. Talagang ako nakakaramdam ako ng lungkot because nagkaroon na naging malaking bahagi si Kris Aquino sa buhay ko at sa buhay ng maraming reporter at sa buhay ng mga taga-showbiz. At patunay yan yung marami naming pictures sa pinagsamahan, kahit yung mga text messages before, yung mga chat before pa. So, talagang at ako to be honest, wala akong nakikitang walang masamang ginawa si Kris Aquino. For me, personally, wala siyang atraso sa akin, so whatsoever. So, ngayon talaga, at parang kasi malaking naging impact niya sa buhay ko, 'di ba? Gusto ko kasi ang personality niya. At noon na nabigyan ako ng chance na makilala siya, napupuntahan siya sa studio, na-interview siya ng ako lang, at uulitin ko, nakapunta ako sa bahay niya sa Times Street, nakapunta ako sa condo unit niya dati, at marami pang iba. At ito lang, 'di ba, nakapunta ako sa bahay niya dito nung before pa niya i-announce na yun nga, meron siyang sakit. I remember that. So, pero at the time, medyo maayos pa yung katawan niya. Pero ngayon nakikita nyo, kahit medyo mapayat pa si Kris, pero iba na yung, parang kahit pa paano, may glow na eh. Medyo maayos na yung mukha. Unlike before, di ba, nung nandito siya sa Pilipinas pa lang, parang ang bigat-bigat na pag tinignan mo siya. Yung makakaramdam ka ngayon, may mapayat, ganun pa rin naman. Pero parang kahit pa paano, meron kang nakikitang pag-asa. So, at yung pag-asa na yon talaga ay iaasamin mo talaga na sana nga ay maging maganda ang resulta. At yun nga, sabi niya sa bandang dulo, magkita-kita tayo sa ating reunion. At yun ang isang bagay na hinihintay nating lahat, especially yung mga taong nagmamahal kay Kris. Ayun, ang makita natin ulit si Kris sa kung sino siya. Siguro, baka hindi man kalabisan man kung i-wish natin yung ganun dating Kris Aquino. Siguro, pero at least makita lang natin na kahit paano healthy si Kris Aquino, na wala siya sa ganyang kondisyon. So, okay na rin yon for now. For me, Anyways, pero syempre, mas maganda kung makita natin siya katulad noon na nag-host, masayang-masaya, nagpapatawa, nakakatawa pag nakikita. At syempre, maganda. So, yun ang muna for now. Maraming salamat. Medyo naubusan ako ng boses because it's 23 minutes itong na-record na to dahil napakahaba talaga ng letter ni Kris for Pinoy pag binasa nyo. So, yun guys, maraming salamat at maraming mag-ingat po tayo.